Today I'll be sharing how I have a budget content creator that helps me write my blogs, create carousel content, and create images. It will not be a fully automated process because I think there needs to be some steps of human intervention so that the content written is curated. I'm building this within Make, and this is what the process will look like. What would happen first is I would be using a couple of tools, one being Perplexity, second being Airtable. Of course, there's Make to automate the workflows, and ChatGPT would be my use of LLM to produce the kind of content that I want. This will be the prompt that I'll be using and putting it into Perplexity. I'm writing this for DoubleAM to ensure that primarily one, when I write blogs, is to help with my AEO and SEO. Two, also to double up as content that I can post and share across my socials. If I were to break this down, it's really just writing a narrative report using data that has been concise within the last 6 to 12 months, summarize 1 to 2 notable AI adoption instances and what are some kind of failures and myth busting so that we have some form of difference. And we will also explore community and social listening to see what's currently available within that space, and then what kind of implementation and lessons and actionable steps can be done so that there will be takeaways for people who are reading the blog, and if there are any sort of follow-up angle. Alright, I'm going to copy this prompt and I'm going to paste this into Perplexity. So I have Perplexity here. For today's topic, let's do how can pet grooming businesses benefit from AI and automation. Consider this from a workflow process point of view. Okay, so we want to select deep research, and I also want to ensure that we enable social, and now we would let Perplexity do its thing and come back once the research is done. Now that Perplexity is done, this is the process where I think human intervention is important. I don't want AI to write everything. There are things that you wouldn't know what they might be pulling that might not be contextually relevant. Pretty much straightforward. I don't have any issues with the content that they have here. I'm going to copy this. It's a little bit of a manual work. At least I'm involved in this process. I will then go to my Airtable. I'm going to paste my Perplexity summary here. I'm also going to paste my topic, so the topic is copying this and moving down to my ticket input and source URLs. Based on this, let me just copy the source URLs. Alright, let's start from here. I just gave it some thoughts and pointers where I will then be able to curate it further, incorporate some aspects for Singapore that will also be good because my primary target audience are for users in Singapore. Alright, so that I would just hit create. So the workflow is completed. This is the outline that we have created, taking the research that we've done through Perplexity. It will then formulate based on these research articles what a specific blog outline will look like, how it will structure the article. So with all this information, it will now be pushed through to another GPT which would engage and write the blog process based on the outlines that we have. There would be a specific prompt that we have here. This is how we're going to write it, with specific instructions to write this in HTML format. I can copy this immediately with the structure and I don't need to edit it. So what's going to happen here after is that there will be the carousel content. I've also given it a specific prompt with specific style of writing to do this, and this is the output that we got. The first slide will be AI with a headline that stays specifically with some visual examples. Second line with some subtext that we could add in. Third is create image prompts. From here, it will have a specific prompt in the way that the output of the structure would be and how I like this to be created in that particular style. In this case, I use a flat 2D vector style illustration in abstract cartoon line art with thick black lines, so on and so forth, to create these images. And now this would have all been updated here. If we would go into Airtable under review, I will be able to see the content that has been created. So we could open this and view it. How can pet grooming businesses benefit from AI and automation? This is the full blog draft. I can then start copying and pasting it. So it's not going to be easy for me to read this through here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to review the content in my blog article. And we would have the carousel content here, 1, 2, 3, 4, with 5 being a call to action, and the image prompts. What I usually do is I would start by copying my image prompts, going into ChatGPT, image creation, and I would just paste this and let it run. It will start creating an image from there I would be able to get it. So it's not going to be automated. Why I say this as a budget option, because if you would already have Pro, the image generations that you make through ChatGPT are going to be free. You wouldn't have to pay for the extra API cost that you would have to incur if you run it through Make. While this gets loaded, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy my entire blog draft. I'm gonna go into DoubleAM where I write and host my blog. I'm gonna create a new post, and from there what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna insert a custom code and I'm gonna paste the exact thing. I'm just gonna save it and I'm gonna preview the post. This way I'm gonna be able to read it better, and it's already built into a specific template. What we're doing is also writing research points where we are citing and quoting. That makes our article a little bit better, and it's going to get picked up by Google if people were to search, especially in LLMs as well, for content generation. The added feature of having frequently asked questions written out so that we are AEO optimized. So how do I map grooming process before adding AI? What metrics should I check when piloting AI scheduling? I'm going to check on my image creation. AI multiplies your mess. Yes, I'm perfectly fine with this image. What's going to happen next is I'm going to start copying the second prompt. Okay, and I'm going to paste it in. This is pretty much the process, how I built my budget content creation that helps with not only your SEO, AEO, but also posting the organic content on your socials.